Hey friends, it is Jenna, what is up, and welcome back to the Board Game Garden. Today we're going to be talking about all the games that I played solo in the month of March, which March was a very successful month when it came to playing just games in general. If you guys didn't see the last video, I did the monthly wrap up with all of the board game stats as well as the games that we played multiplayer. I will put that up here if you guys haven't gone and seen that. It's quite a lengthy video, but I really wanted to talk about all the games that we played. I played a ton of new games, and a lot of the games that I played here solo are also new games. I'm really trying to get games off of my shelf of opportunity, so we successfully did that, and we are going to get into this. Like I said, I might have not said, but I played 8 different games solo this month, and that includes the game of last month's Board Game Garden Solo Challenge, which you guys do not know. Last month I started the Board Game Garden Solo Challenge, where basically the Board Game Garden community focuses on one game for a month, and we have a Discord channel where we all chatted about the game for last month, which last month was Cascadia, which I will be talking about, and it was just so much fun having this community come together and everyone play Cascadia and talk about the different scenarios and our scores and how everything was going. It was a lot of fun, so everyone that took part and participated in that, thank you so much. It was amazing, and I'm so excited to move on to the next game for the month, which I will be announcing in this video, so get excited for that. But yes, without further ado, let's get into this video. If you guys want to see all the games that I played solo, just keep on watching. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy. Hit that subscribe button if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Also, I will mention that the Patreon members, the Board Game Garden does have a Patreon, and I always have it linked down below if you guys are interested. It's a great way to support the Board Game Garden financially if you can do so. I would really appreciate it, but of course it is never something that you have to do. I appreciate you guys just being here. But yes, the Patreon community does vote on the Board Game Garden Solo Challenge game. Anyways, let's get into this video, shall we? So to start off the video, like I mentioned, last month's Board Game Garden Solo Challenge game was Cascadia. Cascadia is published by Flat Out Games as well as AEG, and it is designed by Randy Flynn. And this was our first solo challenge game. I absolutely love Cascadia. It is a fantastic puzzle game where you are placing these hexagon tiles in a habitat, making groups of different types of terrain to score points, as well as placing these animal tokens onto these hexagons, and each animal scores in different ways. And I really enjoyed playing this all month. I think I ended up playing Cascadia 10 times total throughout the month, which is a ton. I usually only get each game played once throughout a month, so being able to play Cascadia 10 times in one month was so much fun. I also did live stream this on YouTube here. I think I'm going to do that going forward. I'm going to, towards the end of the month, I'm going to play the game that was chosen for the solo challenge live here on YouTube, just to kind of say goodbye to the game and end off the month with a little bit of a live stream. So very excited for that. I did that with Cascadia and it was a lot of fun. The video is still up, so if you guys go to the live portion of my YouTube channel, you guys will be able to see that. But yes, huge thank you again to everyone that participated. I'm so excited to do more of these in the future. But yes, Cascadia was absolutely fantastic. I think I ended up getting all the way into scenario 11, possibly. We still have some more scenarios to get through. There are a ton of different scenarios in the rulebook, if you guys do not know, and they have specific things that they want you to achieve in order to beat that scenario. So some of them might be, oh, get certain amount of points with the bears, and also score this many points for all 5, I think there's 5 or 6 terrains. So it's very fun to kind of focus on different things. And Cascadia's solo variant is fantastic. So yes, was super happy to be able to play Cascadia a ton this month. But like I said, we have a new game for this month, and it is a roll and write. I put in the Patreon voting, or the Patreon poll, I put a bunch of different spring games. I really wanted this month to just be a spring themed game, really fun. So I put in a bunch of different spring games, and the winner was Three Sisters. So Three Sisters is going to be the Board Game Garden solo challenge game this month. If you guys have it, be sure to play this a ton in the month of April. We do have, like I said, a Discord channel called TBGG, the Board Game Garden solo challenge. So I recommend coming over there. I always do have the Discord linked down below. If you guys are not part of the Discord yet, we'd love to have you over there. But yes, we are going to be discussing all of our good times and bad times and all the things to do with Three Sisters. And of course, the lovely, lovely Edith in Three Sisters as well. But yes, very excited to be able to get Three Sisters played a ton in April. I'm not going to lie, I haven't played Three Sisters in a really long time. So I'm happy that this is going to like force me to get it to the table more. So yes, that is going to be the Board Game Garden solo challenge game, Three Sisters. All right, so first to start off all of the rest of the games, I do have two that I want to talk about that I do not have. One is one that I believe I talked about in the last solo. I think this is called Sewing Solo. I kind of forgot that. I named this series Sewing Solo. Sewing Solo. But yes, I do think that I mentioned this game in the last month's Sewing Solo, and that is Agueda City of Umbrellas. This is one of the 3 games that 25th Century Games recently kickstarted. They did Colorfield, Donut Shop, as well as Agueda, the City of Umbrellas. And I think Agueda was my favorite of the 3, not only because I really enjoyed the game, but also because it did have a solo variant. So I really, really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic puzzle, much like Cascadia, where you're trying to get certain things in certain places and have certain colors and different things like that. It is a really nice, just light, gorgeous game where you are drafting these little umbrella tokens, which are the cutest board game components I've ever seen in my life. But they're these little like acrylic umbrellas that you are drafting. You can draft them either in rows this way or rows this way in like a diagonal. And if you pick just one of the diagonals that has 1 umbrella, you get 1 coin. If you get 2 umbrellas, nothing happens. But if you draft 3 umbrellas from a 3 umbrella row, you have to spend a coin. So you're kind of trying to balance where you're taking them from. And then you're placing these umbrellas into 3 different streets. And each street is going to be scoring you different points based off of when you're putting your tourist meeples in one of those streets. And then you're going to gain you're going to gain victory points based off of the colors in that row. And then also there's some certain spots that have certain colors you want to place on top to flip over this mural on a wall, and you're trying to flip over, I think there's 6 different tiles that you're trying to flip over. There's 3 rows of 2. If you get 2 tiles in the same row flipped, you get an additional tourist meeple that you can place onto a street to score more victory points. There's some little objectives at the top as well, and it's just such a fun, it's pretty light, I will say that, but I really enjoy a nice solo light game every once in a while, so I really enjoyed Agueda City of Umbrellas. Definitely recommend going and checking it out. I do think the Kickstarter campaign is already over, but I'm sure those 3 will be coming to retail eventually, and then they might be able to, or you might be able to purchase them, like pre-order them right now. But yes, that is Agueda City of Umbrellas. And the second game that I don't have physically with me is Weirdwood Manor. I mentioned this game as well in the past video. It is a game that is coming to Kickstarter on April 18th. I definitely recommend going and checking it out. I will have the link to the campaign down below if you want to go and follow it so that you're notified when it goes live on the 18th. But Weirdwood Manor is a cooperative game that you can play solo. When you play solo, or when at least I played solo, I played as 2 characters. So it's kind of similar to other cooperative games where you play 2 characters instead of, playing with other people. Just by yourself, solo, you play 2 different people. And basically in Weirdwood Manor, you have this big circular board which represents the Weirdwood Manor, and you are trying to protect Lady Weirdwood by protecting her from this monster. There are 3 different monsters that you can go against. I only went against the easiest one for both multiplayer games and solo game, but I really enjoyed it. It is like a mixture of like a boss battler, resource collection, worker placement game with this really cool time manipulation. You have a hand of cards on your turn. You have 3 cards, and then you will be playing one of those cards into either morning, afternoon, evening, or night, on your board or like above your board, and where you play your card determines how far you turn the time dial. So for example, if you were in the morning and you played a card to night, you would have to turn the dial all the way to night. So you're kind of fast forwarding the time a little bit, and time is of the essence because you only have 12 days to beat this monster and save Lady Weirdwood. I don't know if you are saving Lady Weirdwood in the other two monster scenario things, but in the one that I did, you're trying to save Lady Weirdwood before, I think it was called the ogre, the orc, something. The Chaos Ogre? Yeah, I think it's called the Chaos Ogre. You're trying to protect Lady Weirdwood from the Chaos Ogre so that he doesn't kill her. And it's very fun. It's a little bit challenging, I will say. Out of all the 4 games that we played, I played 3 times multiplayer as well as 1 time solo. Died. Lost the game. It's very difficult, but I mentioned this in the other video that I really enjoy when a cooperative game is difficult, and in general when a game is difficult to win, because it makes you want to continue to try and hone in on your skill and beat the game eventually. So I will have the link down below in the description box to the Kickstarter campaign if you guys want to go and check it out. Like I mentioned, it will be starting on April 18th, so you can go and follow it so that you're notified when it starts, and you can check it out and see more of the game in the campaign page. So yes, that is Weirdwood Manor. All right, so moving into some games that I have here physically. The first one I played pretty early on in the month. I wasn't playing a ton at the beginning of March because we did at the beginning of March get our new puppy Walt, and so I didn't really have a lot of opportunities to play games at the beginning of the month. So this was a game that I started off the month with. It was an easy one to just bring upstairs while I was looking after Walt and play on the coffee table, and that is Super Skill Pinball. This is a roll and write. It is very fun. This is by WizKids, I believe, and it is designed by Jeff Engelstein, I think. This one specifically is 4K'd, but I believe there are a few other variations of this. There's a Christmas one, and then there's another just random set of 4 like pinball machine themes. But this one, you have a carnival theme, a like cyber internet kind of theme. You have Dragon Slayer as well as Dance Fever. And basically this is a roll and write where it is supposed to feel like you are playing a pinball machine. So you are rolling dice, and each part of the pinball machine has different dice numbers. So you are going to be rolling 2 dice. This plays multiplayer as well, and I think basically with multiplayer, it is multiplayer solo game at its core, where you're rolling 2 dice and then everyone uses those 2 die to, I don't know why I go back and forth between 2 dice or 2 die, ignore me, but people use those 2 dice, those 2 die, to do 2 different things on their pinball machine. And there's some really fun like comboing and special abilities that you can get. It is so much fun, and I'm really, really happy that I ended up grabbing this one from my friendly local game store, and I'm excited to play all of them because they all play very differently. I've only played the first one, which is the classic like carnival themed pinball machine. It says a classic pinball machine experience where you'll shoot ducky targets, pop balloons, and ring the bell in the test of strength. So it's literally just like a carnival. Very fun, and I really enjoyed this. It has a really cool component where they actually look like the metal balls that you are moving around the pinball machine, and eventually your balls will go down the drain or whatever. It is very fun. I believe you play like 3 different rounds. You eventually can get a bonus of getting 2 balls in as well at the same time. Super, super fun. But yes, that is Super Skill Pinball. This one specifically is Super Skill Pinball 4K'd, but there's also Ramp It Up and Christmas, I think. Next up is a game that I am absolutely obsessed with. I can see this game definitely getting up in my list of favorite games. You guys would probably have heard my thoughts on that in the last video, but the game that I'm talking about is Earth. So Earth is published by Inside Up Games, which makes me very happy because this is a Canadian publisher, and it is designed by Maxim Tardif, I believe. And this game is fantastic. I see the hype. The hype is real, and I definitely recommend you check this game out. You try it. But basically Earth is a engine builder, tableau builder. A lot of people are comparing it to Ark Nova. Nothing like Ark Nova. A lot of people are comparing it to Terraforming Mars. Not really like Terraforming Mars. A little bit of like Ares Expedition with like the simultaneous, no, not really, never mind. Not like Terraforming Mars either. Granted, I've never played the original Terraforming Mars, but I really wish that people would stop comparing games. I think the Brothers Murph talked about this in their wrap up from this month, but stop comparing games, people. No games are like any other games. Earth is its own game, and it is a fantastic tableau builder where basically you are building up your own island and you are planting. I almost said building again. I keep on saying that you build the cards, but you plant the cards because they're all different flora and fauna. But you're planting your cards into your island in a 4x4 grid, and the fun thing is that on your turn you're picking one of 4 different actions. You get the full action, and then everyone else at the same time gets the same action, but just a weaker version of that action. And then everyone at the table gets to activate all of those actions in their tableau of that specific color. And the actions are planting cards, like I said, building cards. There is also getting soil, which helps you pay for those cards, getting sprouts, which sprouts are points at the end of the game, as well as growth, which growth is also points at the end of the game. All of the different cards have different abilities. There are terrain cards, which are like end of game scoring. Some of them are based off of where you place them in your 4x4 grid, and it is fantastic. There are a bunch of different goals that you're going for, which I mentioned this in the video before this, but I am a huge perfectionist, so I love trying to complete all of the objectives and like complete everything. Very, very fun. But specifically the solo variant in this, I really enjoy. I will say I do think I prefer this multiplayer because of the whole simultaneous actions and you being able to pick something and everyone else having to do that. And just every single turn you're doing something, and there's never like a moment where you're just sitting there doing nothing and waiting. I guess there's some instances where like some players might take a little bit longer doing their turn than others, but for the most part you're doing something on everyone's turn, which I really enjoy. But with the solo variant, it's a really good solo variant. I really enjoy it, but I think the multiplayer just gives you that like not really player interaction a little bit, but yeah, I really enjoy that. The solo variant, you are just flipping over a card for the solo player, and that is going to determine the lesser activation thing that you get to do. So it's kind of representing the active player getting the full thing, and then you getting the smaller, not as great action on their turn. And they're going to be collecting sprouts and collecting cards in their compost and collecting cards and stuff like that. And then you are trying to beat the AI's score, which I do think when I played this on stream, which I did play this on stream, and there is a full solo playthrough over on the Board Game Garden TV, which if you guys do not know, I do have a second channel called the Board Game Garden TV where I put all of my Twitch live streams, like playthrough live streams over here on YouTube so that they don't disappear on Twitch, because Twitch likes to delete the live streams after 30 days. So I wanted all of the playthroughs to live on forever. So I'm uploading them here on YouTube over at the Board Game Garden TV. So I'll have it linked down below for you guys. But yes, overall, I really enjoyed the solo variant of Earth. It's very fun and really easy. I definitely recommend checking out Earth overall for both multiplayer play as well as solo. I will say it plays up to 5 players, which is pretty awesome as well. But yes, that is Earth. Moving on to a little bit of a different game. This is a free print and play, so I will try to remember to put a link down below to this free print and play. This is a roll and write print and play called Roll and Cook, which this is just like the front art here, but this is what the print and play looks like here. I'll kind of try to show you guys without the light blinding you, but this is the free print and play that you can print out, and basically you just need, I think 2 dice? No, you need 3 dice. You need 3 dice because you get to roll 3 dice every single turn, and then you are going to be, based off of what you roll, collecting different ingredients and then trying to make different recipes for your restaurant. And it is very fun. You're collecting all of your ingredients down here in your ingredient book. You have these tables that you can collect ingredients. These are like the rounds that you're going through. So you only have access to these when you're in that round. And then there's specific rounds where you need to cook a dish. And it's a very fun, just simple game where you're collecting different things based off of your die rolls. You have a few different special abilities where you can add 1 or -1 to a die. You can just have a die be any number that you want. You can get 2 times a die number, or you can just make up a whole new die for that round. So yes, very fun. And then you just collect your points for the dishes that you have cooked at the end, and then it'll give you your final score in like stars. I will say I was really bad at it the first time that I played it. I think my restaurant was a 2-star restaurant, so not great, but overall a very simple, just fun, food-themed roll and write, which I really enjoyed, and plus it is free, so that is awesome. Like I said, I'll try to link it down below, but that is Roll and Cook. Moving on to another roll, no, it's not a roll and write, it is a flip and write. No, it's not a flip and write, it's a draw and write. What am I saying? But that game is Joan of Arc, Orleans Draw and Write. And when they say draw, they don't mean like drawing a picture, they mean drawing something out of a bag. So this is the roll and write based off of the classic game Orleans, which I do really want to play. Basically in Orleans, I believe it's like a bag builder. You're building up a bag of workers, and then you're going to be drawing workers out of a bag in order to do worker placement on a board. I think that's what it is. So this is roughly like a draw and write version of the original Orleans. But this is published by Capstone Games and designed by Rainer Stockhausen and Ryan Hendrickson. Look at me go, I believe. And yes, this one, I thought it was going to be a lot heavier than it actually was. For some reason, when I saw this first, I thought, oh my goodness, that's going to be like a nice crunchy roll and write. It's going to be in the same realm of like Hadrian's Wall and Twilight Inscription, but it is not, which is totally fine. I think this one definitely is like in more of like the, actually I think it's even, no, is it easier than Fleet the Dice game? I was going to say it's in like the Fleet the Dice game, Three Sisters realm, but it's slightly easier than that, I think. Basically on your turn, you are going to be, specifically in actually the solo version, you're going to be drawing out, I think, 5 different tiles, and each tile allows you, it's like a different type of worker, is allowing you to do something different on the roll and write sheet. There are also cards that eventually you can purchase that will make those workers have additional things or different things that you can do instead of the action that is on the sheet for each of the colored workers, if that makes sense. But yes, it is so much fun. Specific workers, some get you like drawing different roads on a map that get you some rewards based off of what road you're crossing out. There is a worker that gets you to like purchase a landmark, I believe, where you circle it and you get a certain amount of money for, or a certain amount of points for how many landmarks that you have. I actually really enjoy the end game scoring for this game, where basically you're going to be collecting this like person symbol throughout the game. And then you're also going to be collecting the landmarks, like I mentioned, and I think it's those two are multiplied. So however many of those people symbol you get and however many of the landmark you get, that is multiplied and that is a score that you get. So you're kind of trying to get lots of both of those. And then you also have a like star icon, which is added to that as well. And then there are some other things that get added too from each section of the sheet. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. I was a little bit bummed that it wasn't as heavy as what I thought, but overall, I really liked it and the weight is really nice. It's in that like middle range, so if you're looking for something that's not as crazy difficult as Hadrian's Wall and Twilight Inscription, but you want one that's a little bit heavier than your basic roll and write, I definitely recommend checking this out. Also, if you're a fan of the classic Orleans, I think the drawing out of a bag and then based off of what you drew out of that bag, you get to do specific things. I think that is a really cool spin on a roll and write, flip and write, draw and write. So I really enjoyed that about Joan of Arc. But yes, that is Joan of Arc, Orleans, Draw, and Write. And lastly, we have a game that I've been wanting to get to the table for quite a while. This is from Bezier Games, and this is a classic game. I feel like a lot of people have chatted about this one. It is a pretty, like, it's not super old. This is a reprint of it. This is like the more updated version, but this is Suburbia. Like I said, this is published by Bezier Games and designed by Ted Elspach, I believe. But in Suburbia, you are, like the title says, creating your own suburban area with different residential things and commercial buildings and industrial buildings. And they are all hexagon tiles that you're going to be purchasing and then placing into your town, your suburbia. And I will say that this game is pretty difficult. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I like epically failed when I played this for the first time. So I do want to play it more so that I understand the strategy, because I feel like I didn't get the strategy. I don't really know if I loved the solo variant in Suburbia, but I'm very excited to try this multiplayer because I feel like it'll be a lot better multiplayer. But basically with the solo variant, you're going to be playing against an AI, and that AI is going to be purchasing one of the tiles from the market so that you can't purchase it, and then you're going to be purchasing one after. And the thing that I didn't really love about this was you are trying to get both your reputation and your income up. But with the solo variant, and I don't know if this is something that happens in the multiplayer as well, but the score track has these red lines throughout, and whenever you score or your scoring marker goes past one of those red lines, you lose both 2 income as well as 2 reputation. And the whole time I was just trying to keep up with the loss of that income and that reputation. So I felt like I wasn't really gaining things. I wasn't really building this engine of being able to get income and being able to raise my reputation and stuff like that. Basically, you get income and reputation based off of what tiles you're placing, where you're placing it in your suburbia or your suburban area, and you're scoring different things based off of the tile that you're placing. And you need income in order to purchase these tiles because they're going to be a lot of money. A lot of them, as you go throughout the game, a lot of them get pretty expensive, and I was just struggling to get income, and I wasn't able to purchase tiles, and then I was losing income every time I was passing those red lines, and oh my goodness, it is very difficult, and it just made me kind of feel bad at the end. I'm like, I was struggling the whole time, but I don't know, I think I maybe just need to figure out the best strategy for this game. Please let me know if you enjoy Suburbia Solo. Let me know what the best strategy is for this, because I was struggling the entire time. But I enjoyed it, probably not as much as the others that I talked about today, but I'm excited to try it more. I said this with Weirdwood Manor. I really enjoy when I play a game and I lose, because that makes me want to go back to it more and it makes me want to get better at it. So that is the case with Suburbia as well, where I didn't do the best and I couldn't grasp the strategy, but it makes me want to get this to the table more so that I can. So yes, that is Suburbia. Enjoyed it, but was really bad at it. All right, friends, so that is going to be everything for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing all the games that I played solo in the month of March. If you enjoyed, give this video a big thumbs up. Also, hit that subscribe button if you've yet to do so. We'd love to have you here in the garden. Be sure to comment down below all the games that you played solo this month. I'd love to see and chat down in the comment section. I love you guys so much. Remember, you are somebody's reason to smile, and I will see you guys in the next board game video. Bye, friends.